Hey, is this thing on? Hey, this is DJ Juggy, and you tuned into Neighborhood Stories, and this is my story.
Alright, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Neighborhood Stories. Today, I'm very honored. We got DJ Juggy in his house, not my house. Seriously, one of the hardest working DJs that I've ever seen. When I first met him, I think we were doing we were DJing at the Huntsman Cancer Institute for a fundraiser.
Oh yeah.
And we were up, and he was up after us. And I didn't know who this guy was. It was cool shaking hands, and then doing some research. Found out, man, he's just stayed really busy. I saw the first video of him I saw was with KRS-One, where KRS-One called him out. Serato was new at the time, and he's like, "Yo, real DJs use vinyl," and then called Juggy out, and then Juggy just on the spot does this crazy juggle set, and it was just like to be called out by a legend, and then just handle your shit is crazy. So
the funny thing about that story is it's real contradicting because, you know, he's calling me out, but he didn't have a DJ at all.
That's true.
You know, he showed up to the show. A lot of people don't know that. It's like, well, if he had a DJ, why would I be DJing for him?
That's
you know,
true.
So, you know, he didn't have a DJ, and he gave me his whole set just on a jump drive. You know, so what you guys don't know when you're looking at the video is, you know, I am DJing on Serato, but I'm playing his set off of a CDJ that's on the side. So not only, you know, and then I met with him before the show, and well, actually I met with his manager before the show when he gave me the music, and he just had a whole set, like one song, one song, you know, just pop it in, press play, and his manager, and his,
I didn't even think about that.
so his manager was like, you know, you just got to, you know, be on your toes, because at any time during the show he might break into a freestyle and ask you to, kill the music, you know, and either go a cappella or like he'll just ask you to play a beat on the spot. You know what I mean? So he was like, do you have, you know, Gangstar instrumentals and Wu-Tang instrumentals, Mobb Deep, you know, things of that nature. So we started like going through my music and like picking things out. So I already had an idea, like if his manager's gonna sit down with me and go through all this stuff, so I was prepared for the worst.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because when you're just on the whim like that, just commanding somebody you've never worked with to do this, to do that, lower the music, play this, play that, no, turn it off, switch it, go back, and it's like you can't go back because it's just the track. It's just one track for all this whole set. All 25 songs are on one track.
Jeez,
So there's no going back. Like, man, there was, if you were at the show, if anyone was there, thanks, man. It's just. He was doing that non-stop, every 5 minutes, every song, switch it, so.
But on that, you handled it. I mean, you showed what's up. Like, you showed Salt Lake had a scene. Like, Salt Lake has some legit DJs, and KRS-One, man, like, I'd be terrified.
I was terrified, man. I was shaking, I was nervous, so.
Oh, well, good.
I mean, don't get it twisted, man. I wasn't up, I was up there shaking in my boots, so.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's a cool story in its own. But today, I think you have another story that you want to share with us for Neighborhood Stories.
Yeah, man. I guess just how I, made it to Salt Lake City, and I guess why I'm still here. I don't know. I just kind of was a little vagabond after high school. Bounced around and didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. So I.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from a city called Rialto, California. San Bernardino area, Southern California, like. About 45 minutes outside of LA for people who are unfamiliar.
And what brought you out to the 801?
Well, it was the third or fourth stop on my out of high school, see where my life will take me. I was living in Southern California at the time, and as you may know, it's very ingested with talent. And I just kind of thought outside the box, like, man, if I really, and I already lived outside of LA and the drive back and forth, and I don't know, I kind of needed something new, so I went to New York for a while, came back to California, got my stuff, went to Vegas, and was out there and kind of started building my name in Vegas. And
so you were DJing, you were traveling.
Well, I was out of high school when I was not DJing professionally, but I was like looking for an in somehow, some way, because I knew this was what I wanted to do. So, and I had been living in California, like I said, and I just moved out and wanted to do something else. So I went to New York and got my feel out there, and came back and went to Vegas. My mom was living in Vegas, so I went to Vegas around the millennium, around 2000, and was out there for about 2 years, and 9/11 hit.
Oh yeah.
So all the casinos were not really shut down, but shut down in the sense like people weren't traveling.
Things were different.
Things got a lot different because people, I mean, obviously Vegas is a big tourist town, and people weren't flying and coming there. So with that, being said, all the clubs were slowing down and work started to, be gone.
Yeah.
So, and that was right around the
Things
time.
changed.
Yeah, for sure. It was right around the time of the Olympics. So I got some gigs during the Olympics for out here in Salt Lake City, and came out and I was DJing, did some DJing stuff for myself, and I was also DJing for a couple of guys on Stone's Throw, Ono and Wild Child and Kazi, and a couple of those guys. We kind of just were doing our thing like in Southern California, Vegas, and just around the southern region of America, just doing our little independent thing. And I came out here, did some shows during the Olympics, and actually was out here the week before the Olympics. Stayed out here, met a lot of good people, and I was been doing in Vegas. I had a promotions and marketing company, like putting up posters outside of shows and doing a lot of street stuff, marketing. So I took my company and saw that there was a lot of room to grow here, and that was after 9/11, so everything was slowing down. It was a perfect opportunity for me to come out and do something else. So I saw Salt Lake was a thriving market. I took everything, all my belongings and my knowledge, and and prayed for the best. Yeah, and came out here in 2002, like right after the Olympics. And I've been out here ever since, man.
That's great. Well, I mean, seriously, we're glad to have you. I mean, you've definitely been a big influence on a lot of DJs, and not just, just showing that, I mean, right now you've got so much work. You took that plunge. I mean, you're in with the underground, you're in with, like, real hip-hop. You're on the radio, and, like, you're doing your thing, and it's just, like, it's cool seeing people that merge, Like, growing up, you always hear the hip-hop head saying, oh, you can't do radio.
Yeah.
All the radio heads, it's almost like people find reasons to separate and, like, to find cliques or, like, little pockets. And I think the world is changing because nowadays it's like, if we want to survive as a human race, we gotta join together and
for sure, man.
And break those barriers,
you got to, and that's kind of how my approach to radio is, and shout out to E-Rock. He gives me the keys to the air.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'll be honest with you,
congratulations to you as well.
Absolutely,
that
man.
was this year when he got.
This year or the end? No, I think the end of the middle of last year that he took over the radio station, and man, I try to cross the boundaries as much as possible without just being like blatantly like, yo, this is in your face, real hip hop,
Monday Night Mix Show.
That's different. I'm talking about like regular radio programming, 5, 6, 9 o'clock, you know what I mean? Like, you got to find those records that can break those grounds without, like, oh, he's just slamming in some, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to really fit, and it's got to, cross over like Joey Badass. You listen to his album, it's boom bap all the way through. He has the one song with Kaiza, Teach Me How to Dance, and it's a not necessarily it's a commercial song, but it's a song that can be played on the radio and people can relate to it. Maybe some of his more street music, some of the commercial heads you might not be able to relate to it, but the song about the girl, and he meets a girl and he's he's asking her to teach, to show him how to dance. I think it's a story, people can relate to that, and not to say they can't relate to the other stuff, but realistically it's just not commercial friendly, and people have to understand that commercial radio is commercial radio, and the hip hop heads will always say, oh yeah, but you could do this, and you can to a certain extent, but that's why they have outlets for underground or southern rap or Bay Area rap or LA rap or whatever genre of rap or hip hop it is. There's outlets for it, and sometimes they cross and sometimes they don't.
But it's good to see. It's good to see you just putting it out there, and you're constantly doing shows. I think the last time I saw you live, you were right next to Primo. I mean, that was a big deal for me.
He
walks up and I
got a story for that too, man, because we were doing sound check, and normally when artists perform, they perform a good chunk of their catalog, old new,
Man.
you know, their big collaboration records.
He was teaching a lesson there.
He was, for sure. So, you know, of course, I asked him beforehand, like, you know, I'm imagining you're going to do Gangstar records and or have your, you know, I didn't know what to expect from the Prime set. I knew they're going to perform, you know, the songs they have together and the songs they have on their album, and Royce is going to perform his big songs, and I just didn't know what Premier was going to do. So, you know, beforehand we were talking, and I, you know, asked him. He was like, yeah, you know, just stay away from the Gangstar stuff, and, you know, pretty much anything that I've, you know, produced, because, you know, I have a whole set, you know, and he didn't go into detail with it, but he just respectfully asked me. And normally when I open for artists, it's just an unwritten rule. You don't play any of their music, you know.
He's got a huge catalog.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure, you know, and, you know, because there's a lot of, I mean, he's been making records for 20 years. I mean, obviously he's not going to perform or play every record he performs, so I wanted to, you know, so instead of him saying, okay, this is what I'm going to play, go ahead and play this, he just respectfully asked me not, so I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, you know, so I guess I won't be playing this. And I pulled out the Jazz Thing 45.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, man, I can't believe you had that. And just, like, started digging through my records, you know, just was, like, pulling out records. And
so
he was like,
out on your stuff.
oh, yeah. I had Primo produced records that pressed on vinyl that he didn't know were even out.
Really?
I was like,
amazing.
oh shit, you know, and
you can take pride in your collection.
oh yeah, man, and it was a La Coca Nostra record, Mind Your Own Business, and he immediately texted DJ Clips right on the spot and was like, yo, do you have any more of these records? Like, Juggy out here's got it, you know, and and then it was funny, I saw Eclipse like 3 weeks after that. And I told him the story. He was like, "Yeah, I remember him texting me about that, you know." So, you know, hip hop, man, it's a small world.
That's crazy. And Premier is another DJ that, man, he's got his hands in everything.
Yeah, man.
But he keeps it solid. I mean, Premier is Premier. You know, Juggy is Juggy.
Yeah, man, he produces for people all, you know, West Coast, East Coast, you know, Disclosure.
Yeah, Disclosure. That was,
you know, he has records with Maroon 5 and Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson, and Christina. I just got the DJ Snake and Aluna George is a DJ Premier remix for that.
Really?
So, you know, I mean, hands down, he's my favorite producer of all time, and his producing style is something how I do. You know, I DJ, you know, pop, you know, clubs and jiggy shit, and I DJ underground and real hip hop stuff and corporate stuff and radio, and, you know, 3 different radio stations doing 3 different types of music, you know. So
makes you diverse.
Yeah, man, it's you know.
So yeah, go out there, don't put yourself in a pocket, I guess is what the story is today.
Some people do, you know. I mean, I know people who have, you know, I mean, most DJs who are like club DJs or radio DJs, if they've been DJing for more than 5 years, they probably started like, you know, like us, like, you know, like Backpack, you know, just playing just straight hip hop, boom bap stuff, you know, and then they, you know, graduate, and then some people don't. Some people just stay that, cool, you know. Yeah, man. I know a lot of cats who have no aspiration regarding the money or the look or whatever, you know, and you know, well, I'm not going to knock them, you know, for not taking, you know, X amount of dollars for a club gig, you know, because they don't like the music.
They don't want to do it.
Hey, that's on them, man. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of the music that I play that I personally don't like, but when I'm out DJing at a club or on the radio or wherever it is, 95% of the time when I'm DJing, I'm not DJing for me because somebody hired me. I mean, you know, they might DJ, you know, because they saw me play hip hop, and they're like, well, we want you to do what you did over at Urban Lounge, or we want you to do what you did at the downstairs in Park City. You know what I mean? Like, and then they booked me for that. You know, you know what I mean? It's like being the bartender for music. Like,
but I also love, I mean, sometimes you go to underground gigs, and when they're playing hip hop, and then they drop like some kind of funk sample from Brazil that nobody's ever heard of. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, I don't know, I guess creativity, but I guess all in all, life. Yeah. Take that plunge. I guess, DJ how you want, but
absolutely, man.
It's just cool to see, you know, hear stories from legends, you know, and you're a Salt Lake legend for sure. So.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Word. Anything else you want to tell the people?
Support your local everything, man. Whether it's artists, shows,
clothes,
shops,
food.
Everything, man. Absolutely. Support your local everything, because that's where it all starts. And if you don't support them, they won't be able to
Where we
support
at?
themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
You heard it from Juggy. Well, thanks again for being on the show.
hell yeah.
Much appreciated. And yes, tune in next time. New episode every Thursday. Put a comment down below. Click the like button, and we're out.